Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Fort, and we are here for another poetry discussion. There are now over 100 poetry discussions in the poetry discussion playlist here on the channel, so be sure to check that playlist out because there's some good stuff in there. Poems, not the discussions. The discussions are okay, but the poems are there as well. The poems are in these videos. The poem today, We Real Cool by Gwendolyn Brooks. 8 lines, probably 20 to 25 words total, comparable in these ways to something like A Red Wheelbarrow by William Carlos Williams. A Red Wheelbarrow, The Red Wheelbarrow? Doesn't matter, not for this discussion. We're here for Gwendolyn Brooks. The poem, We Real Cool. The pool players, 7 at the golden shovel. That is a subtitle. Subtitle for a poem, because there's not much in the poem as far as verbiage itself. So the poem reads as such. We real cool. We left school. We lurk late. We strike straight. We sing sin. We thin gin. We jazz June. We die soon. I can sort of only speak about this poem by speaking in cliches, because the poem itself, I think oftentimes what will happen when you're discussing something so novel is that you can only speak in cliches, and if you are trying to think of something intelligent to say about something which is cliche, you start speaking in more novel terms. So because this is so sort of novel, I can only really speak in cliches about it. There are so many cliches that have made their way into my discussion notes here. The first one is a saying that is often attributed to James Dean, though I'm not sure the veracity of that. Live fast, die young, and have a good-looking corpse. So, live fast, die young, have a good-looking corpse. Live fast, die young, leave a good-looking corpse. Whatever the sort of iteration of this phrase with which you are familiar, surely you are familiar with one of the iterations of this phrase. And the reason that a phrase like this lives on in the way that it does is because there is a certain type of authenticity to this mindset. There's a certain type of authenticity to this lifestyle. The lifestyle here of the pool players is something that we recognize instantly. We recognize it instantly whether or not we have been in a pool hall, whether we are a pool shark or not, whether we have anything to do with pool. And we do recognize that because of the authenticity there, the authenticity of someone like James Dean. The authenticity of these pool players. There is, I think, something underlying this ethos. The ethos of live fast, die young, and have a beautiful corpse. The thing underlying that is authenticity, but it is also presence in the moment. Think not of the morrow, right? There is nothing here that says maybe tomorrow will be better. There is nothing here as well that says maybe tomorrow will be worse. There is only now. Now, of course, the last sentence, not line. The last line is die soon. The last sentence, we die soon. But everything here suggests the now. Even we sing sin. We thin gin. Everything present tense there. We real cool. The only past tense is we left school, right? We real cool. We left school. We lurk late, present tense. We strike straight, present tense. We sing gin, present tense. We jazz June, present tense. And we die soon. Even that is present tense. It's about the future, but it's present tense. So I want to move forward to this phrase, we jazz June. So in the margins of my helpful little collection here, it's too bright, you can't see it, that's fine. We jazz June has a little asterisk. The asterisk leads to the sidebar, which says, have sexual intercourse with. We jazz June. We are having sexual intercourse with June. What does that mean? Is June a reference to a name? We jazz June. We are making love to the young lady June. Or is it the month? We are making love to life. We jazz June. We're getting it in with life, baby. This ideology of making love to life itself. Now, when we think of June, June is the beginning of summer, summer being the season of living, not the season of birth, not the season of death, not the season of decline, fall, summer, June, is when it's hot and heavy. So the proverbial we here, the royal we maybe, the we present in this poem is infatuated with summer, is making love to the summer. The summer is important because it is not the spring. The summer is important because it is not the fall. The summer is important because it is not winter. The summer is important because it's really when you're in the grip of things. That is what summer represents. And again, it leads back to the sort of allure of this type of lifestyle, this type of living in the now lifestyle. There is a certain sort of bohemian enchantment, maybe, to this. There is, I think, sort of an idea. So another cliche, right? I mentioned cliches here. It's better to burn out than to fade away. That is very much present here. And when you think about those individuals that maybe you've known on a personal level, or maybe that you know of celebrities, right? James Dean, again, going back to James Dean, or the one that always sticks out to me, Freddie Mercury. It's better to burn out than to fade away. The star of Freddie Mercury rose and burned bright, and burned out. The star of James Dean burned fast, burned bright, and burnt out. There was no fizzle away there. When we look at individuals who are sort of in that type of lifestyle, but don't burn out, neither does that end well. When you think of perhaps Ernest Hemingway, how did Ernest Hemingway end? When you think of perhaps Chris Cornell, how did Chris Cornell end? Those two died by their own hand. When you think of someone like F. Scott Fitzgerald, F. Scott Fitzgerald died younger than did Hemingway, but wasn't a real great end, by all things I've heard of it. So is it better, in fact, to burn out than to fade away? That is, I think, what this poem is implying, and we do, I think, overall, as a society, seem to enjoy that, seem to cherish that, seem to... What is the right word here? Admire. As a society, I think that we really sort of admire that. We really put those people, live fast, die young, leave a beautiful corpse. We really put those people on a pedestal, don't we? It's what we admire. But is it what we want? So I'm reminded of another cliche. Everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die. Everyone wants to go to heaven. No one wants to die to get there. Everyone wants to go to heaven. No one wants to die first. So there's all of these iterations of that cliche as well. But I think that it's sort of indicative of what we're looking at when we think of the ethos behind this poem. The speakers here, live fast, die young, leave a beautiful corpse. And we admire that, but we don't want it for ourselves. Or do we? Are there those surely there are those amongst us who do. But does anyone say, yeah, I'll take that? Or do the people even living this life know that they're on that track? One thing that I'm an easy, I think, sort of example to point to here is an athlete. You can look at Tyreek Hill, wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. You can look at Tom Brady, quarterback formerly of the New England Patriots and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and say, yeah, man, that's my guy. But do I want to do all of those sit-ups? Do I want to do all those squats? Do I want to live that weird Tom Brady lifestyle, eating vegetables and fermented things? I don't know. We idolize Tom Brady when he's throwing the winning glory of women, really. If you compare it to another poem, I don't have that poem with me right now. I wish I had known I was going to go down this avenue. I would have had that poem to speak about. But we look at all of these athletes and we cherish them, and we think, man, I wish I could do that. But we don't stop to think, yeah, but I really don't want to be getting up at 6 in the morning and running sprints. I really don't want to be doing all of the things that you have to do in order to be that guy. I'd love to be that guy. I don't want to put the work in. Glory of women, Siegfried Sassoon. You love us when we're heroes, home on leave, or wounded in a mentionable place. You worship decorations you believe that chivalry redeems the war's disgrace. You make us shells. You listen with delight by tales of dirt and danger fondly thrilled. You crown our distant ardors while we fight and mourn our laureled memories when we're killed. You can't believe the British troops retire when hell's last horror breaks them and they run, trampling the terrible corpses blind with blood. Oh, German mother dreaming by the fire while you are knitting socks to send your son. His face is trodden deeper in the mud. Siegfried Sassoon, that is sort of the opposite, the obverse to this coin. Sort of the obverse to the coin that we're getting here with Real Cool by Gwendolyn Brooks. We real cool. We left school. We lurk late. We strike straight. We sing sin. We thin gin. We jazz June. We die soon. That is sort of the opposite side of that coin, and I have never made that connection before. So we do admire these people. But do we want this for ourselves? Are we comfortable admiring from a distance? But do we covet this life? I don't know. That is all I have for this poetry discussion. I hope to see you back for the next poetry discussion. It helps me out here on the channel if you hit that like button at some point. If you are here by chance but not design, consider hitting the subscribe button because, hey, we do this stuff a lot. And I hope to see you back for the next video here on Stripped Cover Lit. See you next time. hopefully.